The Formation of the United States of America. A detailed account. The formation of the United States of America is a fascinating story that spans centuries, involving exploration, colonization, revolution, and nation-building. This journey from a group of scattered colonies to one of the most powerful nations in the world is marked by significant events, key figures, and profound transformations. 1. Early exploration and colonization. The origins of the United States can be traced back to the age of exploration in the late 15th and early 16th centuries. European powers, particularly Spain, Portugal, France, and England, sought new trade routes, resources, and territories across the Atlantic Ocean. Christopher Columbus's voyages in 1492 opened the door for further exploration of the Americas. In the early 17th century, England began establishing permanent settlements in North America. The first successful English colony was Jamestown, founded in Virginia in 1607 by the Virginia Company. Despite initial struggles with disease, famine, and conflict with Native Americans, Jamestown survived and became the foundation of English colonization. Another significant event was the arrival of the Pilgrims on the Mayflower in 1620. They established Plymouth Colony in present-day Massachusetts, seeking religious freedom and economic opportunities. Over time, more colonies were established along the eastern seaboard, each with its own unique characteristics and governance structures. By the early 18th century, there were 13 British colonies stretching from New Hampshire in the north to Georgia in the south. These colonies developed distinct economies. New England focused on fishing and trade, the middle colonies on agriculture, and the southern colonies on cash, crops like tobacco and rice. 2. Growing tensions with Britain. As the colonies grew, so did their sense of identity and autonomy. However, tensions between the colonies and Great Britain began to rise in the mid-18th century. The 7 Years' War, 1756 to 1763, known as the French and Indian War in North America, left Britain deeply in debt. To recoup costs, the British government imposed a series of taxes on the colonies without granting them representation in Parliament. Key acts that fueled resentment included the Stamp Act, 1765, required colonists to pay taxes on printed materials. The Townshend Acts, 1767, imposed duties on goods such as tea, glass, and paper. The Tea Act, 1773, led to the Boston Tea Party, where colonists dumped British tea into Boston Harbor in protest. These actions sparked widespread protests, boycotts, and calls for greater self-governance. Revolutionary leaders like Samuel Adams, Patrick Henry, and Thomas Paine emerged, advocating for independence. 3. The American Revolution. The culmination of these tensions led to the outbreak of the American Revolutionary War in 1775. The war began with skirmishes at Lexington and Concord, followed by major battles such as Bunker Hill and Trenton. On July 4, 1776, the Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence, drafted primarily by Thomas Jefferson. This document articulated the colonies' reasons for seeking independence and declared their right to self-determination. The war lasted until 1783, during which the colonists faced numerous challenges, but received crucial support from allies like France. Key victories, such as the Battle of Saratoga in 1777 and the Siege of Yorktown in 1781, weakened British resolve. The Treaty of Paris in 1783 formally ended the war and recognized the independence of the United States. 4. Building a nation. After gaining independence, the newly formed nation faced the daunting task of creating a stable government. Initially governed under the Articles of Confederation, 1781 to 1789, the loose alliance proved inadequate in addressing issues like taxation, commerce, and defense. In response, delegates convened at the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia in 1787 to draft a new framework. The resulting U.S. Constitution established a federal system of government with 3 branches: executive, legislative, and judicial, designed to ensure checks and balances. It also included the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments, guaranteeing fundamental freedoms and protections. George Washington was unanimously elected as the first president of the United States in 1789, setting precedents for leadership and governance. Under his administration, the young nation began to establish itself economically, diplomatically, and militarily. Fifth, expansion and consolidation. Throughout the 19th century, the United States expanded significantly through territorial acquisitions and westward migration. Notable milestones include the Louisiana Purchase, 1803, doubled the size of the country; the Mexican-American War, 1846 to 1848, resulted in the acquisition of California and much of the Southwest; the H.